So to hear the hatred that has been spewed is just an affront to everything that we stand for in this place. First of all, I want to thank Ms Tyrrell for bringing this important motion to the House, and I also want to thank Mr McIntosh. That was a very good speech. And I was so disappointed and disheartened at the ones before that, because I tell you what, in all honesty, I would give my life for this flag. I would die for this nation and I would die for this flag because of what it represents. Australia is an amazing place. It is the best nation on earth. It has an Indigenous heritage. It has a British foundation and it has a multicultural character. And the only way that we can move forward as one is if we begin to see each of those and respect them as the individual and vital part that they play. I was so disappointed to hear those from the other side, and I actually do not think that I hate to give Labor a free kick, but what we heard from two of those members, I am sure it is not what they believe, because this is an incredible nation, this is an incredible state, and this has become the envy of the world, and it is because of the freedom and the democracy that that flag represents. Now, let me tell you, I also wish, and I do not think that it was from any ill will, I also would be so offended if I saw the Aboriginal flag being burned. I would never stand for that, because when you burn a flag, that is never going to heal a heart. Burning a flag is never going to bring people together. What it does is it demonises, it expresses hatred, and it divides people and just rips nations apart, and it should never ever be accepted. So I was so disappointed to hear those two. I'm not even going to mention their names, but I will mention some of the things they said. One of them said this about Ms Tyrrell, who I am sure is a flawed character like all of us are. But she has come with a heart like that for the nation that I absolutely love about her. We are all flawed. We can all come with different things. But like when Mrs Deeming said, when you do not have an argument, you begin to attack the person. And I was so upset to see that, because surely we are better than this. Here's a few of the things that I was so mad with. When one of the members of the government said she was desperate for relevance. That is absolutely not true. What she is desperate for is to see the fabric in the community work together, and for Western democracy, which has actually become a safe haven for people that are escaping poverty and communism. It's a safe haven for those girls that are escaping Afghanistan so they can actually come and get an education. It's an escape for those women that are actually in fear in Iran, who are being shot and killed and executed in public because they choose to show their hair. That is what the Australian flag means. It is freedom and it is democracy. It makes sure that people have the rule, not just the rule of law and economic independence and those things that protect us, but it ensures that everyone has equality of opportunity and not necessarily equality of outcome. I love that flag. I love this nation, and anybody who burns that flag as a sign of resistance or a sign of, whatever it is, hatred, should have the whole force of the law come down on them, because I tell you what, that flag represents values that people die for, that people stand up in countries that are, under communism and under different things where they're trying to break out of poverty. What that flag does and what that flag represents is freedom. And what it represents is a hope, is that a little girl can come here and she can get an education, and it doesn't matter who her dad is. She's not going to be, traded off. She's not going to be a child that is subject to child marriage. What that flag represents is that little girl, not because of who she was born to, but because she is human, she gets a chance. That is what that flag means to me. I love this flag. I love this country. And to hear some of those things, let me read some others, which I just thought was so incredibly upsetting. Why is it, by the way, that 1/3 of small businesses in this nation are started by immigrants? Why is that? It is because this is a land of opportunity where people don't just come. People can come and they can put back and they can serve and they can achieve their dreams. And from their success, they can make way for others. And I thank God for people like that, because people like that have made way for me. Let me tell you, and this is why it's important to me. Australia has an Indigenous foundation. One of the people that has made the biggest mark on my life and is like a North Star to me is an Indigenous man. I don't know why I got like this. Who, when he was younger, was put in a prison cell where somebody had just been kicked to death because he was Indigenous. And he has walked through and he has seen the change in this nation. He has seen the beginning of reconciliation, but not the end. Could I have a tissue, please? And that's what this flag means to me. The second part is, thank you. How embarrassing. The Indigenous heritage of this nation matters. It is the very soil that we all live on. It is the spirit of what we carry. It is the Indigenous heritage of this nation. The second thing I want to talk about is the British Foundation, which has allowed the rule of law and democracy, and to make sure when people have arguments that it's based on reason. It is the British Foundation that has allowed people to live a life of freedom. It's incredible. It's what has forged the way for democracy, and it is democracy that allows people to thrive and live life according to their terms. And the third part is we have a multicultural character, that it does not matter where you come from, you can have a go here. It does not matter if you were born in Afghanistan, China, Australia, New Zealand, America. If you come here, you have the same rights as everybody else, and that is what this flag means to me. So to hear the hatred that has been spewed is just an affront to everything that we stand for in this place. And like I said, I am very serious. I haven't even touched my notes. But I love this flag and I live for this nation and I would die for this nation because of what it represents. And there are so many people who would absolutely give up anything to be here. I am very lucky that every few weeks, I get to go and I get to attend citizenship ceremonies. And Mr. Limbrick quoted it before. They stand there and they say, I pledge my loyalty to Australia and its people, whose rights I will uphold and whose liberties I will respect and obey. They give their life for this. They give up everything else because they know that this is where they want to be. I tell you what, it does not matter where they were born. They are Australian because they carry that spirit and that attitude. So to say that burning the flag and bringing something forward like this is racist is one of the most offensive things I have ever heard, because that flag is a sign of unity. It is something that every one of us can unite and stand under. Now, I just want to say one other thing, and this was what I was actually going to start my speech on, but now I've got about 1 minute and 15 seconds left. A couple of Sundays ago, I was walking through the CBD with some friends, and I was devastated to see a pro-Palestinian march with people walking down with desecrated Australian flags. That broke my heart, because I tell you what, people in Palestine matter. People in Israel matter. But what should never come onto our streets is the desecration of the Australian flag, the very symbol that brings us all together. So I commend this motion to the House and I say, well done, Ms. Tyrrell, for bringing it along. Thank you.